headlines of VTV News. National Assembly discusses draft law on urban and rural planning. Vietnam enters 2024's leading economic growth group. And later on in our world news, Iranians vote for new president.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to VTV News, broadcast live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Pham, and here's the top news of the hour. The National Assembly held a plenary session on Friday morning to discuss the draft law on urban and rural planning. More to follow.
The draft law on urban and rural planning stipulates 6 conditions for adjusting planning at a macro level. Some deputies proposed adding more planning regulations based on localities' practical difficulties. Some participants suggested that the bill should clearly specify urban and rural planning levels.
I propose that an independent provision be studied on conditions for planning adjustment investment projects. This would ensure strict yet flexible planning regulations and help remove practical difficulties.
Earlier, the National Assembly passed the revised capital law and adopted a resolution on the investment policy of the North-South Expressway's western section.
Vietnam ranks 79th out of 160 countries in the Green Growth Index 2024, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment has announced. According to this ranking, Vietnam ranks 16th out of 50 in Asia. This result is thanks to the country's efforts to increase forest coverage and attract $9 billion into green sectors. However, the efficiency of Vietnam's green economy has not yet met the requirements, as the sector has only created approximately 400,000 jobs, accounting for a little over 1% of the total job count in the country. Vietnam's commitment to green growth enhances its international standing, attracting foreign investments and partnerships. According to Standard Chartered Bank, Vietnam's growth this year is forecast to reach over 6%. This places Vietnam among the world's leaders in economic growth. The economic growth of emerging countries in general is about 4%, and emerging countries in Asia is about 5%. Vietnam's medium-term growth is thanks to trade along with strong foreign direct investment inflows. Standard Chartered also warned about the risks of inflation, exchange rates due to the influence of external market developments. Vietnam needs to be careful with its interest rate policy. In the long term, Vietnam's business environment continues to be an attractive destination for investors. In the first 6 months of this year, Vietnam's seafood exports are estimated to have reached over $4.4 billion. Currently, the 4 largest markets importing Vietnamese seafood are the U.S., China, Japan, and the EU. Since the beginning of the year, the U.S. market has shown positive signs with a growth rate of 7%. While exports to China, Japan, and the EU are equivalent to the same period last year, exports to South Korea increased slightly by 2%. This year, the seafood industry strives to achieve an export turnover of $10 billion. However, the EC's IUU yellow card warning is a major obstacle that needs to be resolved soon. In the first half of this year, the value of goods exported through the Lao Cai border gate was 3 times higher than that of imported goods. This is the result of these localities' efforts to improve its customs clearance capacity, especially for agricultural products.
Among the export items, durian alone accounts for nearly 60% of the export value, up 6-fold compared to the same period last year. This fruit is exported mainly from southern and central highland provinces. On average, each day, Kim Ton Lao Kai International Road Border Gate Number 2 has about 500 vehicles pass through. Many businesses choose this border gate to export goods because there is no need to worry about congestion, and the procedure processing time is quick.
Digital transformation at border gates helps our business, particularly by greatly speeding up delivery times and ensuring product quality.
Enhancing infrastructure, applying synchronous solutions to reduce procedure times, and increasing customs clearance capacity at border gates provide maximum support to businesses.
We strive to remove difficulties and obstacles for businesses in many forms. We organize dialogues to strengthen communication. From there, difficulties are promptly removed.
In the future, the digital border gate platform will be integrated with customs data, which is expected to create a breakthrough in handling administrative procedures and ensure publicity and transparency. Lao Cai Province will also invest in building 3 more import and export channels, increasing the capacity of goods clearance.
The One Commune, One Product program, abbreviated as OCOP, has entered its 6th year. Across the country, over 13,000 products are certified with 3 stars and above. The OCOP Evaluation and Grading Council continues to work to select 5-star products in 2024 as more OCOP products increase and management criteria need to be tightened compared to previous years.
At the latest working session of the OCOP Product Evaluation and Classification Council, out of 55 food products considered by the Council, only 4 were selected to gain a 5-star rating. Criteria such as local raw materials and labor, intellectual property, spillover value, and products that are eligible for exporting are highlighted.
We have prepared our facilities early to meet standards set by both domestic and international customers.
As one of the 6 entities newly recognized as 5-star OCOP, this tea cooperative has altered its technology, design and sales methods. More importantly, the enterprise also established a linkage between its OCOP products and agritourism in the traditional tea growing areas of Tân Cương, Thái Nguyên.
Our development orientation focuses on tea culture and a wide variety of tea-based products.
Recently, localities have revoked 3-star OCOP product certificates as they failed to meet 2 criteria. Firstly, production of some products was halted due to a lack of raw materials. Secondly, food hygiene and safety standards were not guaranteed. As a result, the management of OCOP products will be further tightened.
Companies must inspect the quality of their goods more frequently. If products are detected to fail OCOP standard requirements, they can be recalled by functional agencies.
The OCOP program has encouraged businesses to promote transformation in production, renew designs and packaging, create more jobs, and develop livelihoods in disadvantaged areas.
And before we move to the next part of VTV News, let's check out how the Vietnam dong is weighed against other currencies in the world market today. Coming up next, June the 28th is Vietnam Family Day. Let's get to know a house of inspiration and what it does to help bring out the message of this day. And Hội An named as world's top best value destination for 2024. Currently, the low-pressure area in the west is expanding towards Vietnam. In the afternoon of June the 28th, from Nghệ An to Phú Yên, there will be a widespread heat wave. From tomorrow, temperatures will soar across the entire northern Midland Plain and Hòa Bình, with temperatures ranging from 35 to 37 degrees Celsius, with some places reaching above 37 degrees Celsius. From Thanh Hóa to Phú Yên, the temperature will be around 35 to 38 degrees Celsius, with some places notching 40 degrees Celsius. This heat wave may last until early next week. Due to the hot weather and lack of rain, Tuyên Quang Hydroelectric Reservoir will close one bottom discharge gate at 1 p.m. on June the 28th. 700 people in Cần Thơ donated blood during the Blood Donation Festival in response to the National Blood Donation Campaign. Red Journey is a cross-country campaign first initiated by the National Steering Committee for Voluntary Blood Donation and the National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion in 2013. It aims to raise public awareness of the need for blood donation and thalassemia, a genetic blood disorder that can lead to heart failure and liver problems. For years, Cần Thơ City has had the highest number of voluntary blood donors in Vietnam. This year's Voluntary Blood Donation Festival attracted 700 people to register to donate blood. This is a very valuable source of blood to supplement the Cần Thơ Blood Bank, which in turn supplies hospitals across the southwest region. A team of U.S. veterans who fought in Vietnam recently embarked on an unforgettable trip to survey and provide information on nearly 20 mass graves of Vietnamese martyrs located across 4 provinces of Tây Ninh, Bình Dương, Bình Phước, and Đồng Nai. This crucial information will assist local authorities in conducting excavations that could bring thousands of Vietnamese martyrs back to their homeland.
The U.S. Veterans Group has handed over more than 20 sets of records on mass graves in Vietnam to Steering Committee 515 of 4 provinces and the Vietnam Martyr Family Support Association. To obtain this valuable information, 2 U.S. veterans, Bob Connor and Richard Magner, volunteered to spend as much time as it takes interviewing witnesses who directly saw the burials and sending thousands of emails for inquiry requests and persuasion. They also worked with various sources to verify the intel.
Being able to get this information back to these 2 veterans that were involved in the burial detail, it's a very emotional thing for them too. So if I can share this information and the potential of success back to them, it will be a great relief to them in their PTSD.
The mass graves vary in size, with some containing the remains of 300 people, others 130, and some at least 10. If all of them are exhumed, up to 3,000 martyrs could be identified or at least rest in peace in martyrs' cemeteries.
Thanks to the efforts of Bob and Richard, a mass grave containing 80 martyrs' remains was discovered inside Bien Hoa Airport in Dong Nai Province in 2017. In 2021, another grave with about 200 martyrs was found in Ben Cao, Tay Ninh Province.
What I'm watching is the most significant part of the procession, and this is where when I saw the woman coming up behind him, and here she's holding a picture of the one that she hasn't seen for 49 years, is in that casket in front of her. Now I could see the streaks from the previous tears. And I was convinced this is closure.
According to the Ministry of National Defense, nearly 200,000 martyrs' remains have yet to be retrieved from battlefields. Meaningful actions like those of Bob and Richard help ease the pain of war and strengthen the relationship between the United States and Vietnam.
June the 28th is Vietnamese Family Day, a day to honor the value of family and love and highlight the role of the family in building a happy life. Besides happy and complete families, others are not so fortunate. However, with the efforts of many individuals in society, they are still given love and the desire to change their lives.
A small cafe called Youth Rest Stop is a resting place for these young people before adulthood.
During the summer break, I came to Youth Rest Stop to support and learn from people here.
Over the past 10 years, more than 500 orphans have called Zoom their mother. From the house of aspiration, the children have been guided, nurtured, and grown up.
As a mother, I understand that every child needs food, clothing, school, love, spiritual support, and listening. That is the reason I built House of Aspiration to give to children who lack loving parents. For me, this is a big family. Mom and siblings always care for me. Now that I'm an adult, I'm back here to accompany unfortunate children like me and to spread love to them.
The children of the House of Aspiration are supported within their community before they turn 18. When they turn 18, they go to big cities to continue university studies.
Coming here, I have a family, a mother, and brothers and sisters who love me very much.
This boy enters the last day of the high school graduation exam today. After that, he will follow his dream, which he has nurtured during his day at the House of Aspiration.
An event promoting Vietnamese tourism recently took place in Paris, France. This event holds particular meaning given that France is one of the key potential markets for Vietnamese tourism. Our reporter in France has more details.
Organized by the Vietnam National Authority of Tourism, the Association of Tourism Organizations in France, and the Vietnamese Embassy in France, the event has captured the attention of numerous tourism agencies and passenger transport companies in France and neighboring countries such as Spain and Portugal.
In addition to introducing the beauty of Vietnam, its people and its culture to French and other European visitors, we also want to introduce Vietnam's other potential as a dynamic and developing country in the Asian region. We also hope that by promoting Vietnamese tourism in France like this, we will elevate Vietnam's position on the global tourism map. This effort also helps attract more French and international tourists to Vietnam.
Several new tourism products and packages focusing on key urban areas, including island tourism, cultural tourism, ecotourism, and urban tourism, have been introduced.
I think Vietnam has provided many favorable conditions for tourists to return.
The National Department of Tourism and the Vietnamese Cultural Center in France will continue to deploy new activities to transform Vietnam into a captivating destination for French travel enthusiasts.
The ancient city of Hội An in Vietnam's central Quảng Nam province has topped the list of the best value destinations worldwide for this year, according to a UK post office study. The article said that Hội An, which used to be a bustling merchant port city, is now a great option for travelers on a budget, thanks to lower charges at local restaurants and bars. Lower costs have led to the city's jump from 6th place in 2023 rankings to the top spot this year. Hội An leads thanks to its budget-friendly, low-cost restaurants and bars compared to its competitors. In addition, this is also one of the most charming cities in Vietnam. There is no hustle and bustle like big cities. Visitors can spend the morning on pristine beaches and the afternoon visiting historical sites and sampling delicious food at Hội An's night market. Located 5 kilometers from the demarcation line of the Gulf of Tonkin, Chen Island in Co Tô district is the furthest island from the mainland of Quảng Ninh province. Once deserted, Chen Island is now home to 13 households who have volunteered to settle there. Notably, the island hosts an inter-level school with 7 students and 3 dedicated teachers, all driven by a passion for education.
The inter-level school branch of Chen Island has only 5 elementary students, 2 preschoolers, and 3 volunteer teachers. The students are children of fishermen who have chosen to live on the island.
I'm still young and unmarried. I want to contribute something to this small island. The first difficulty is being far from home. Second, we have to take on 2 classes, covering 2 different knowledge areas, so we have to prepare 2 lesson plans and divide the board into 2 classes.
We may not have a lot of students, but we have modern facilities and spacious classrooms with full furniture and equipment. This investment ensures that parents feel secure sending their children to school.
Guangning Province supports parents through a tuition exemption policy, allowing them to feel at ease while they work at sea. Teachers on Chen Island receive continuous support from Koto District and Guangning Province. It boosts their confidence in delivering education on such a remote island.
Koto District arranges monthly trips for teachers to visit their families. We've done our best for them to maintain family connections and focus on their educational mission far from home.
The students of Chen Island, nurtured in this supportive environment, will become future citizens who cherish their homeland.
I love going to school. I want to become a teacher and go back to this school and teach its students.
Coming up next in our world news, Iranians vote for new president. And 2 candidates face off in first U.S. election debate of 2024. Iranian voters went to the polls in the presidential election on Friday, which took place earlier than planned. 2 conservative candidates announced their withdrawal from the election a day before the official voting took place. Thus, the election now is a competition between 4 candidates, 3 conservatives and hardliners, including current Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf, former Iranian nuclear negotiator Saeed Jalili, and former cleric and justice minister Mostafa, and 1 reformist candidate Masoud Pezeshkian. According to analysts, it is a neck-and-neck race. Therefore, it is likely that no one will obtain more than 50% of the votes in the first round to win outright, which means a second round of voting will be required. About 62 million Iranians are eligible to vote in the 14th presidential election, and the results could be announced in a few days. Current U.S. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump had their first live debate of the 2024 election at the CNN headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. The debate lasted 90 minutes in a studio without an audience, with only 2 hosts besides the 2 candidates, Joe Biden, 81 years old, the Democratic candidate, and Donald Trump, 78 years old. The Republican candidate debated a series of issues from domestic policies such as economic management efficiency, inflation, and immigration to foreign affairs issues such as the conflict in Ukraine or the conflict between Israel and Hamas. The joint poll results of the New York Times Siena College before the live debate showed that the support rate for former President Donald Trump was 49% compared to 47% for current President Joe Biden. The heads of European states and governments approved nominations for the European Union's leading positions for the next 5 years at Thursday's EU summit in Brussels. Ursula von der Leyen was reappointed president of the European Commission. Former Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa will head the European Council. Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas will become the top EU foreign affairs and security policy representative. Rounding out the list, lawmakers are expected to return the EPP's Roberta Metsola as EU Parliament President. For the European Council's proposals to come into effect, the European Parliament must still approve the nominations in the middle of next month, during the first session of the new term. A group of life-sized wild animal puppets took their first steps at the London launch of a new public art project that will see them embarking on a 20,000 kilometers or 12,400 miles trek from Central Africa to Northern Europe, symbolically fleeing from the effects of climate change. The Herds is the latest project from the team behind. Little Amal, more in the following.
The Herds is the new project from the team behind Little Amal, the giant puppet that toured the world to raise awareness on the plight of climate change. Taking place from April to August 2025, it will see groups of puppet animals traveling north, with the herd expanding in size and variety along the way.
And the idea is that a group of animals start fleeing because of climate change. And as they go from city to city along the journey, they will add more native species, more endemic species, and the herd grows and grows and grows. The journey starts in Congo Basin and will end in the north of Norway, so it's a 20,000 kilometer journey, and we're creating partnerships in cities along the route.
To facilitate the process, the puppets are made of easily accessible and recycled materials, such as cardboard and plywood. The prototypes for the puppets have been designed by Zuabi and the Ukwanda puppet.
There's a little bit of plywood in here and some metal, so we've got pins, little metal pins just to hold things in place, but there's no plastic. There's nothing here that will not return to the earth over a period of time. But cardboard obviously is something that we had to develop. We had to find ways to strengthen, to create structures that are strong and that will hold and not break down too quickly.
The puppeteers have also immersed themselves in researching movements and sounds to portray the animals, which are zoologically accurate in size. Bringing the animals to an urban setting, the group hopes to remind people of the beauty of wildlife and nature.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4Go. Goodbye for now.